Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to the, admittedly late, Solstice Year reading for Aquarius. Now, I did do year readings for all signs on my New Year's Eve live stream, which you can find on my channel. But I like this spread so much, I started it before Christmas. Yes, you may have noticed the world has sped up a little bit this year, and so my feet have barely touched the floor, but I really like this spread, so I wanted to complete this. And now we're on the 12th, it's the day of the new moon in some areas, and Aquarius, it is finally your turn. My apologies for the wait. Life has been more than a little hectic, so this isn't really one of those readings where you can ask a question beforehand. It's just a general look at the energies between now, or nearly 3 weeks ago, and the next midwinter solstice. So leading up to the solstice, we did of course have the Jupiter Saturn Conjunction, which I didn't want to do a reading about per se, because that was defining a whole 20 years worth of time, and so it's a bit difficult to find enough to narrow down to and to look at just to cover for 20 years. It's a bit wishy-washy, isn't it? However, the solstice and the conjunction were led up to by a phenomenal solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Links in the description down below for all the readings for those, because I think they're certainly going to have a long-lasting effect. Certainly the eclipse readings are still in effect if you just look at them isolated as eclipses, but the fact that they were helping lead up to the Jupiter Saturn conjunction and all the stuff that we've had after, because there's barely a day going by at the moment this month that there isn't some significant aspect or another going on. We seem to be getting hit one after another, which is not a bad thing, but it's making life eventful. So also down there is a link to the Facebook page for this channel. I post these videos. I like to post the astrology weather forecast videos when I get to them. I watch them a lot, but I can't post directly from my phone for some strange reason, so it's one of those I have to sit down and post them all at once. If you like the video, please do press the like button. It helps it get seen, but more importantly, comment, because I'd like to know that these readings get to who they're supposed to get to. I call it that these readings find their homes. It took me a while to adjust to the idea of doing readings on YouTube rather than like face-to-face with a client. So yeah, it's nice to know that I'm not just sat talking to a camera. And thank you to everyone who's commented so far. I'm convinced I'm not just talking to a camera, but each one of these readings is like a little baby that I want to see grow up and do some good in the world, you know. Obviously, watch your sun, moon and rising signs. And if you only get to watch one, watch your rising. If you don't know what that is, there is a link in the description down below for a free birth chart from Astrology or Cafe Astrology. I prefer the former because you can play with the house system and what have you. But I must admit, when I started out, I preferred the Cafe Astrology because it was nice and simple and it just told me what I was doing. So it depends how good you are at the astrology thing. Right, that's enough waffling for me. Ooh, a bit longer this time, nearly 4 minutes. So let me bring the cards up. So defining the reading right in the center is some form of commitment, some form of celebration, some form of almost, there's a theme of divine illumination here. If you notice, you could say that they are at a party dancing with fireworks going off, but the image that I'm getting from it is more that these are people worshipping some divine manifestation in the sky, and the four wands within the card are like the corner points, the the foundations of building something special, something new, something to move forward on. There is a wonderful self-expression here, and there's an interesting in the main deck, which is the, what's it called? I think it's called Tarot the Healing Light. I can't see the box anywhere. But we've got Four of Cups, Four of Wands, Four of Swords, all the way through the reading. Now, when I first overturned this top row, my first thought was that, well, there was two. That there was some guidance that you hadn't listened to, and also that there is some guidance that you maybe had listened to and shouldn't be doing. I got the urge of be careful what guidance you are listening to. Now, this was then clarified by the Death card. So it's almost like where you are getting your guidance from needs to change. And certainly if you're bored with circumstances at the start of the year, you need to effect some change, because I feel that there is some conflict that has been and gone. And it's now time to, and that would follow with the readings that I did for Aquarius last year. It's now time to pick up the pieces and know what you're leaving behind, because this is echoed twice. Seven of Swords here, Five of Swords here. Both victory cards of picking up some of the swords, but not all of them. Definitely not all of them. It's working how you can move forward in the most nurturing way, giving value for yourself and others. The primary urge here, the goddess that is looking after you this year, is Hygeia, the goddess of good health, the daughter of Asclepius, so granddaughter of Apollo. And Asclepius was a god of healing. There was nothing that he couldn't heal in others. But Hygeia is all the support work. Hygeia is the good diet, good rest, plenty of exercise. She is the she's the one that say nothing good happens without my blessings. So you need to do the work that she requires of you, which is go out for a walk, eat right, don't eat lots of junk, etc., etc. But I want to say that there is a tone with all of this that Hygeia is asking, with the decisions that you make this year, is it healthy? And this is backed up by the fact that we have Mamaea, the degree angel from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, representing endings and rebirth. And that dual nature of the Four of Cups really makes me think that you are going to be changing your source of guidance, not because of any necessarily even conflict or anything, but it's just this source of guidance has done its job now. It's finished. There's nothing more it can add. You need to move on to this new one. There is an immense amount of change, and even I would hazard a guess that the old source of guidance is turning around saying, you've learned all you can from me, now you need to go out into the big wide world. Now, angel number, obviously 444. Not that I can remember what that is, but I think it's something about manifestation and building. And certainly there is that whole sense of transformation. This particular Four of Swords, so this is a healing year for you, which is pretty obvious with the Four of Swords here and Hygeia looking after everything. This is a year where you are getting to really go through a transformation. We have Temperance, Judgment, Justice card here. One that is self-focused, Four of Swords, Nine of Pentacles here, both the being on your own cards. But I don't mean that in a romantic sense. I mean that is as in turning your attention inward and having some time to almost have a stock take of yourself. Because there's new dreams coming in. King of Cups on the bottom of the clarification deck. Ace of Cups here. In fact, two aces. Got Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords. Once you have got to that point where you are making decisions on, is this good for me? And with the Aquarius, is it obviously good for others around you? But it has to be that, is this good for me, be the first question. That's what this Nine of Pentacles and Four of Swords is saying. Once you recognize where your commitments are, you can strategically put your efforts towards them to engage in some transformation. But there's healing to do with first. There is some dream that you're scared of. Some dream that you would like to go, oh, can I do it? Shall I do it? And I think right now the answer feels like it's no. That's what this, I'm not saying that the answer is no. I'm saying it feels like it's no. With Four of Cups, Temperance, and the Nine of Swords up on this top deck, especially with the Nine of Swords being clarified by the Ace of Cups. Now, obviously, that could indicate a love relationship that's gone wrong, but the conflict's already over. So maybe you're coming to terms with something that has gone wrong, or there is some passion project that you are wanting to go ahead with. Now, when I say passion project, it could be a new hobby, a new job, a new place to live even, because, oh, I've always really wanted to move so and so, but I just don't dare because I've got so many ties here, and the mortgage and the bills and the this and the that and the other, and I just can't do it. But I'd really like to. No, dive into that fear, have the transformation of it, and do it, whatever it is, whether it's uprooting and moving to Australia or starting knitting. It doesn't really matter. Go for it, because there is a rebirth here. This Judgment card, it offers transformation, but it only offers transformation if you've put the work in. Otherwise, you will be judged for not having put the work in. And I really like this Five of Pentacles here, which is showing that new source of guidance coming in once that transformation has been achieved. So that makes sense of it. You've been told and you've been shown everything that you need to do your own personal transformation. Now it's up to you, because one thing Hygeia does is put responsibility on you for looking after yourself, like go for the walk, eat right, all that sort of thing. But if you feel that you've normally been accessing a source of guidance that's more otherworldly, and it seems to have stepped back, yeah, you're right. You're on your own. And rightly so, because you've been given all of the tools that you need. You just need to know what it is you are seeing value in. And I think that's the big question, where there will be challenges, where you are attributing value in your own life to, how you are spending your time, how you are spending your attention, how you're spending your money. But I mean, that's not as important as the time and the attention bit. But you've been given all of the tools that you need. You've been given all of the information that you need. You've been shown all the information that you need for you to enact this transformation within yourself this year. And if all of a sudden you feel like you're on your own, well, yeah, you are. Because there ain't anybody else that can help you through this bit. You have everything that you need. When you recognize the commitment that I was going to say need to make, but I'm led to say, when you recognize the commitment that you want to make and what you need to do to be able to make that commitment, you get the clarity about that. That is when all the wheels start turning again for you. That is the, where do I put value on things? Can I recognize what it is I want to commit to and how I need to do it? All of these swords cards. So what have we got? 9, 5, 7, ace, 4, and I always tend to think of the justice as a sword card as well. I think there was a king, king of swords right at the top here, crowning the situation, showing that have balance with what you cut out and have balance with what you don't cut out. That king of swords, he could hack merrily away and chop everything out. That's not what's being asked for right now. It's an almost surgical precision for you to open yourself up to a transformation that occurs this year. That very final card of the reading, 10 of Cups. So at the very, very end here, if you do this whole looking within and spending time on your own, then that's where you find your happiness afterwards. Now, if your happiness is defined on somebody else being there, I'm not saying that they won't be. But what I am saying is, if you don't spend that time to look within and do all of that sort of work, then it won't matter whether they are or not, because you won't be happy, because you'll be judging yourself for what you have failed to do. There's this new source of guidance open for you, but you have to expose yourself. You have to take the risk of having this transformation, making this commitment. It's one that you're scared of, but you've always really quite wanted to go. You are being invited to stand with your peers. And it may be, and look, Ace of Pentacles on the straight under that on the bottom of the deck. And just to hammer the point home, the Empress. So you are being invited to stand amongst your peers, which offers a new beginning, Ace of Pentacles, and that becomes abundant for you. It reaps a harvest. You reap the rewards. Basically, this year, and I could carry on because it's got King of Wands and Justice on the next two cards on that deck. There's an element with this Justice here. There's an element of knowing, being fair, but being fair to yourself as well. This virtues, Michael, represents a really solid person. Now let me see, because I'm still learning this deck, so I'll look this one up. You can always tell when I'm learning a deck. With the tiniest printing. Right. The Resplendent Angel. This represents a noble, kind-hearted person, altruistic, extraordinary help. So there is assistance there for you, but also I think that is you. It is time for you to give yourself that extraordinary help and go, yeah, I've had all the information. Now it's time for me to pull my finger out, start some of these endings and rebirths here that Mamaia is promising. Now, keep an eye on my new moon and full moon videos. You'll find out when Mamaia is active in that particular, well, within the lunar cycle. That's something that I like to look at the degree angels. There's a card I haven't dealt with. Where is it? The Sufi Wisdom card. The energy of love. Behold the world through the eyes of love. That makes sense with everything I was saying here, because it's almost as if, have you been punishing yourself for something or denying yourself something because you didn't feel right about chasing after it? Because that's what this Nine of Swords and Ace of Cups here in the top corner. allude to. There was something that you may want it, but you're scared at the same time, and the fear is bigger than the want. And it's time for you to go, if that's the right thing for me to do, I might as well get on and do it. I'm not getting any younger. In fact, I could be really cheeky and call the reading that. You're not getting any younger, Aquarius. I mean, let's face it, after 2020, none of us are. But this is like doing your dissertation. Once you've done all the research and you've got all the data together and you've done all the practice and you've done all the different exercises that you need to do, all you've got to do now is sit down and write it. I'm feeling with this 10 of Cups right at the end, or the 10 of Chalices, right at the end of the reading. Let me explain a bit about this particular Four of Swords. You'll notice that there's a weird thing. And this has been a popular card for these solstice readings. There's a weird thing that's above the crypt. You could look at it and say it is maybe a stained glass window in the background. To me, it looks like something that is unfolding from a higher dimension into this one. But whereas in the last reading, which would have been in Capricorn, I was seeing that as something slightly external. Here, it's almost as if it's unfolding and manifesting from the hearts of the two people lying in the crypt at the bottom. There is that whole step upness going on, but again, as a result of the transformation that you go through. And that transformation is something that you have to commit to, even if you're scared of it. So, what do you attribute value to? Do a stock take of that. And then that thing that you've always wanted but you've been scared of going for, go for it. Because to a great extent, it's now or never. Hey, there's another good title for the reading. Now or never. So if this means anything to you, Aquarius, comment down below. Like I said, it's nice to hear from you. I'm a YouTuber, so like, share, subscribe, all of that waffle. And in the meantime, I should have a new moon video out later today. In fact, it might even be out before I publish this one. So yeah, go and have a look at that. Cheers.